towards the posts. Good reply from Neath.
Stay there behind, please.
Easterby to the blind side. Oh, what a run it is as well. To Boubia on his inside. Boubia over halfway. Lovely mazy run from Boubia. Has Wayne Proctor in support, but can't get the pass in. Corner is there, so is Bateman. Bateman looks downfield and sees men outside him. Great vision from Bateman to Williams to Marsden. Sean Marsden is quick. Has just Gareth Bowen there. Turns him inside out. What a reply from Neath. Looked as though Thursley were going to score. But what a brilliant breakout. Great vision from Bateman. And what finishing from Sean Marsden. And Neath are back in front. Llanelli have a penalty up to Neath try line. They want to try and use it though if they can. But it's slow ball. Nobody making a decision. Celesi Finau just lurking there. And Boubia goes in. Throws it away. Says enough of that nonsense. Let's have a pick for goal.
Offside here. Offside midfield.
Gareth Bowen slots it over. Llanelli are back in front, and that could be a big dent to Neath's title hopes.
Certainly Neath came down here with the attitude that it was a must-win game for them, and you know it makes this victory all the more sweeter. You know, we had a lot of youngsters out there, and they really stood up and were counted tonight. So the future bodes well for Llanelli and or shall I say the province of Llanelli.
So there is
record with the boot, not quite as illustrious in terms of points as Stephen Jones, but here he goes for his third attempt. And I think he may have hooked that one as well, so it's all going wrong for Swansea at the moment.
Oh, it is a poor miss there from Arwell, really. Those sort of kicks are normally bread and butter for him.
Well, there we have it at the end of 42 minutes or thereabouts in this first half of the Celtic League game between Llanelli and Swansea. It should have all been about Stephen Jones, but what an explosive finish to the first 40 minutes. First of all, Matthew Robinson went off for Swansea, and then Dean Thomas on his second yellow card. At the moment, it's a big total for Llanelli. They're leading 24 points to 6.
X-ray runway 7, hold, correction, runway 12, hold, short.
What's the situation?
They're still closing, sir.
We should have visual contact any time now.
Yes, sir.
Lee Davis contemplating what could be a hatful of points in this second half. Swansea down to 13 men, and one of the most talked about men in Wales at the moment will be referee David McHugh. For those two sendings off, Matthew Robinson immediately red carded, and Dean Thomas, the flank forward, who got 2 yellows, so no choice but for him to go. Jonathan Davis there commentating for Welsh television. I just wonder what those guys think about what they've seen here this evening. Tony Copsey, what do you think about it? It's been drama all the way.
Well, when we saw the fireworks go off when the teams run out of the first half, it was all to follow, and it hasn't disappointed us, has it? John Connolly, the Swansea coach, who's new to Welsh rugby, probably doesn't know what clashing Swansea game means. Well, he certainly does now, so a big uphill task here for Swansea in the second half.
Well, one change that I've spotted early doors is that Guy Easterby, Irish international, has come on for Llanelli. So they've certainly made a change. There he is, Guy Easterby, just going across field there, picked up by Garen Evans. Mark Jones in support. We'll try and spot any other changes for you. But there is Arwell Thomas, his opposite number. Stephen Jones scored 19 of Llanelli's 24 points in the first half. It's 15 against 13. Passion still running high. That is absolutely sure. And Sean Payne. Disappointment, I guess, for Payne, and frustration there with that slice kick, because he came in to fullback from wing where he played last week, hoping, I'm sure, to get lots of possession so he could attack the Scarlets, but that hasn't been the case, I'm afraid.
Certainly Swansea missing Kevin Morgan tonight at fullback, as we learnt this evening. He's got knee ligament problems, to be out for a month, so you know, big pressure on Sean to perform tonight and over the next couple of weeks.
So certainly Llanelli looking for the win. and looking presumably for bonus points in the Celtic League as well to try and qualify for the quarter-finals. And goodness only knows what Swansea will be looking for here, but they've got real problems. Having said that, they've got the first penalty of this second half.
Yeah, a bit of silly play there, really. Lee here should really know better to sort of mess around. There's no need for it. Clanachley are well in control, and really Gareth Jenkins would have said to them at half-time, keep control, win this game.
Well, certainly Scott Gibbs, the Swansea skipper, will be totally frustrated. Lee Davis's opposite number, on the other hand, will be feeling pretty confident at the moment. They're trying to get possession, and once they've got it, Swansea will be trying to keep it, but Llanelli all over them like a rash at the moment, and passion's still running high, that's for sure.
Well, Lee Davis and Scott Gibbs there, a little bit of shenanigans going on from the penalty earlier, where Lee Davis gave the penalty. They're both having a little dust up there on the pitch there, so they've got to keep it under control here, especially Lee Davis. His team's in position here to get a great win tonight. He doesn't want to ruin it.
That was Gavin Henson, the number 11 Swansea winger we were looking at.
As to his future conduct.
And the touch judge there saying his future conduct, and he's referring to Scott Gibbs. He wants Mr. McHugh to have a word with him, so Scott under the spotlight as well.
Yeah, there's a bit of a grudge going on between these two. Both former Neath players, and
just had a little bit of something down
both
there.
captains of the side tonight.
Where I penalise you. You're both the captains. I expect a bit more example from you. A touch judge has gone against you. A penalty is here, and it's for Clanachley.
The baby-faced assassin, Scott Gibbs, going, what, me?
You got to love it when you see these players pulled up by a referee, and there we see it. Scott Gibbs, getting a bit of a cheap shot in straight away into Lee Davis, reacting there right in front of the linesman again. So in this day and age, linesmen won't miss such things like that.
Well, it'd be tough to find a more competitive rugby player than Scott Gibbs. So passionate about his game. Lee Davis too. He had a super game against Edinburgh, especially in the first half last week, but unfortunately his side ended up being thumped by the Scottish side. Stephen Jones, just that solitary kick missed in the first half. Tries to extend the lead. Big kick, this one. And that's big. Is it going to hang inside the post? No, it's not. Part of the crowd thought he'd got it, so he's missed his second kick in a row as Arwell Thomas tries to put the Swansea club out of trouble.
Well, very good kick there from Stephen Jones, just drifting wide. Very difficult kick.
And Celeste Finau there, a little chip up and a pick up as well.
Something you don't see a lot of, actually. Celeste Finau chipping the ball over the opposition's head, but fantastic chip and take.
He normally runs through people. So here we go. The hooker, Marcus Thomas, who had a brilliant run in the first half, does it again. Takes about 20 metres out of the Swansea team. Lee Davis, the captain, looking for support. Trying to pop one over there to Matthew Watkins, but Watkins was covered. Llanelli, second, third phase possession. And Garen Evans trying to get into it there, but a knock on.
Yeah, knock on there from Garen. Unfortunately, if he just run onto the ball there, would have been in fantastic field position. Again, Marcus Thomas, the Clanachley hooker, having a fantastic game tonight. Out wide there, lovely little run. But again, Clanachley causing a bit of pressure on the Swansea side at the moment.
I mean, Tony, it's a massive predicament for Swansea. You're 2 men down. You're on the end of an 18-point points differential at the moment. What on earth do they do?
Well, it's going to be interesting. I would have loved to have been a fly on the Swansea dressing room at half-time and see what John Connolly thought of that first half and how the hell are you going to come back from this. Obviously 18 points down, 2 players down. It's damage limitation time, I think.
And just having a look at that kick that Stephen Jones missed, and a knock on here, so there'll be a scrum down. Just looking at this side, Iestyn Thomas, Marcus Thomas, John Davis, the Llanelli front row. As we look at Mark Taylor, Wales and British Lions, of course, who's come on for Swansea. And really there, I guess, to bolster defence as well as potentially producing some attacking moves.
Yeah. Well, I was surprised to see Mark omitted tonight from the starting lineup. Obviously a fantastic player with a wealth of experience, and that's what you need. I think the one thing Swansea have lacked with their starting lineup actually today is that experience of these types of occasions.
So Matthew Watkins there, and that move being started by the substitute scrum half Guy Easterby. Good to see Easterby back on the park, as Salesi Finau has been moving infield. There's Easterby, makes a couple of metres, and Chris Wyatt was in support but just ran past him. Here we go again. Danger in the corner. Good tackle coming in there from Gavin Henson. And this has got the potential, certainly, for Llanelli to run riot.
Well, that was a great tackle there from, I think it was Gavin Henson on Lee Davis there on the wing. Fantastic, you know, knocked the ball on there for Lee to give them the scrum.
Good passing there by the Llanelli backs. Lee Davis absolutely screaming at Matthew Watkins to release it, but he went infield. There's Watkins, big charge on now by the forwards, and the ball has been released, and there is a try. And Stephen Jones, I'm not quite sure where he popped up from, but now he's beginning to get a hatful of points. He's up to 24 now, and the total for Llanelli, 29 against Swansea 6.
Well, it'll be interesting to see the replay on that, because I think there's about 3 different players going to try and claim that. David Jones, Ian Bouvier and Steve Jones. But again, fantastic pressure from the Llanelli forwards. Here we see the scrum. Iestyn Thomas absolutely destroying this Swansea scrum. And there we go. I think that's got to be Ian Bouvier's try, actually. So it'll be interesting to see who actually gets on the score sheet on that one. Half the pack will be claiming that in the dressing room afterwards.
Well, I think we're going to give it to Ian anyway. He certainly got the first hand to it, but Stephen Jones thought he'd got it. So from the right-hand side, quite a difficult kick, but he has been kicking well. Similar position to last time, and he hits the post again. So 3 in a row he's missed after a 100% record, going up to 24 points for Stephen Jones. I wonder if this is the floodgates opening for Llanelli.
Well, it's going to be interesting in this next 10-minute period, really. Again, difficult kick there for Stephen Jones, but really the try coming from that forward pressure. Again, I've mentioned Iestyn Thomas really up front for Llanelli, having a fantastic game there. And the Swansea forwards going back at the rate of knots, which will not do their confidence any good. And here we had the perfect man to bring on.
Well, Martin Madden had a great game last week. He also scored the first try for Llanelli. In Bouvier, just having a bit of a word with him. John Davis, who's had a fine game in the front row, being substituted 9 minutes into this second half. There's Madden.
Well, yes, John's had a fantastic first half, as I said, along with Iestyn Thomas and Marcus Thomas, causing all sorts of problems up front. But if you want to bring a man on, Martin Madden, the guy who loves the TV cameras, will be loving an occasion like this, where there'll be plenty of open field play for him to do some damage.
So a lot of attention, I'm sure, if any Irish selectors are watching Guy Easterby here this evening.
Certainly, you know, you've got to be delighted to be in the Llanelli camp at the moment to take a player like Dwayne Poole off and then put Guy Easterby on. So that's fantastic strength and depth at scrum half they have.
Well, that was certainly a good jump there by Andrew Farley, and Swansea with a bit of possession here, although I think it's quite obvious that Llanelli are going to cause all sorts of problems, and Stephen Jones is going to get his second try of the game, and it was so simple in the end. A simple error, a simple pickup, and then the sprint for the line.
Well, that summed up Swansea's even a little bit. You know, they got possession, making mistakes, turnover ball, and Stephen Jones, just when we thought the forwards were going to get in on the act, is trying to make it a one-man show again.
Well, certainly Stephen Jones will be conscious of the fact that his points average for the season has just shot up.
And there we have it, mishandled ball from Arwell Thomas there, snapped up by Stephen Jones. Thank you very much. He doesn't need a second time of asking and showing where the try line is, and a very easy cantering for Stephen Jones. Try underneath the post, and an easy conversion for him.
I'm going to have to start getting a calculator out here soon to find out how many points that Stephen Jones has scored, but off the top of my head, that is 26 points for the Welsh outside half, and Scott Gibbs must be absolutely gutted as to what's happened here this evening.
Well, you know, we were speaking to Scott before the game, and he's a very proud Swansea man, and this game means the most when you look at Llanelli and Swansea players and supporters, and he for one will know and be feeling this performance at the moment.
Well, Mark Taylor took that little pop over by Dwayne, not by Dwayne Peel, of course, Guy Easterby. midfield, but Llanelli have been penalised this time on the 10-metre line.
Yes, I thought it was going to be interesting to see what Swansea do there. Given the penalty, tap and go, and unfortunately a knock-on.
And David Jones wanted play to carry on there, just having a little bit of a word with one of the Swansea front row players. I guess every Llanelli player now, with the ball in their hands, is going to be looking for a score.
Yes, it's going to be white line fever time all round in the Scarlets at the moment. So really trying to cut this Swansea defence apart at the moment. But here we have it, tap penalty from Scott Gibbs there. Tries to pass the ball and just a simple knock-on. Really, really a shame.
Well, Martin Madden just about threw him 2 or 3 feet up in the air there, as Chris Wyatt takes it on for the Scarlets. The boot coming from Stephen Jones. Not sure with a 2-man advantage, the boot across field was the best tactic there, but Jones presumably thinking, well, we can attack their thrown at the line-out and take it from there.
Well, I think Llanelli got to be looking for the bonus point, but obviously I think Gareth Jenkins at half-time has said to these guys, right, keep a lid on it, keep cool, calm and composure. We've got a fantastic start to the game, and what they're really looking for is to win tonight.
Now, can they get possession? It's a bit scrappy, but it comes down, but Llanelli have turned it over already. Mr. McHugh saying, get your hands away from it. Now then, Swansea, can they maintain possession? That surely is going to be one of the most difficult things in this second period of 40 minutes. As Cordingley just goes around the outside and Llanelli penalised. Here goes the scrum half, committed to attack. Gavin Henson, who's had a pretty good game so far, trying to go past Stephen Jones. Again, Mr. McHugh saying, keep your hands away from the ball. This is the most possession Swansea have had in this second half. Arwell Thomas, a little slip past there. There just seems no way through for Swansea at the moment.
No, they're trying hard here, but it's so loose. Turned over again now.
So Easterby gets his line moving. Fullback comes into the line as well. Salesi Finau tries to run through Sean Payne, which he almost did. Now this is dangerous for Swansea once again. Luke Gross takes it forward about 10 metres. Here's Easterby. Easterby again. This is a rampant Llanelli side, but more support perhaps needed. 5 metres out from Swansea's line. Now they can spin it. They've got a big chance here, but it was tapped down there. And again, so you've got to give credit to Swansea for this defence.
Well, they're trying hard, and but here we are, Llanelli running amok at the moment.
They've got a little man over here. Lee Davis just pops it through there, but too far.
Well, that great bit of passage of play from Llanelli, but again, all coming from Swansea. You know, they went for a tap penalty, you know, a couple of phases play, but then turned over the ball again. You know, not getting consistent play and phase play, which is really keeping them out of this game. It's a fantastic bit of phase play from Llanelli there.
So coming up towards 15 minutes in this second half, as we see the Llanelli skipper, Lee Davis, who must be a very happy man at the moment. They've added 2 tries in the second half. It's an impressive scoreline already at 36 points to 6. A hapless Swansea down to 13 men.
Well, a nice little chip through from Lee Davis and Lee Davis there for Marcus Thomas, and you wouldn't bet Marcus Thomas against Gavin Henson on the wing there, would you?
Well, certainly he's got to be, if there was a sprint race, a sort of superstars competition for hookers, he'd be in the frame, wouldn't he?
Certainly, but I always used to beat him in training, if I remember rightly.
Scott Gibbs, you certainly won't forget this visit to Stradey Park in a little while. Pick up there by Dafford Jones, and Easterby round quickly, looking for support. He gets it from Boubier, who got the try. Not the last try, that once again was Stephen Jones. He got the first in this second half. Llanelli, and there goes Jones again. There's going to be a try here. Lee Davis, the captain, gets a try. Another try as Llanelli go over 40 points.
Well, a fantastic try again from Llanelli, but really Swansea are looking very pedestrian at the moment. A couple of bits of phase play there, but you know, the Swansea defence coming up very slowly. And again, between Stephen Jones and Lee Davis, just in that midfield, causing all sorts of problems. And Scott Gibbs that will be looking around at his team now and wondering, you know, what the hell is happening.
Well, as you said earlier, Tony, I mean, it is damage limitation, really, as Stephen Jones gets another 2 points to his impressive tally, and bonus points already for Llanelli, of course. We won't know the full extent as to how the table in Pool A of this Celtic League is going to pan out until the end of the weekend, of course, but every chance that the Scarlets can qualify for the quarterfinals. I think it's fair to say now Swansea have got no chance.
No, not at all. But here we see Stephen Jones returning the favour to Lee Davis from the earlier try that Lee made for him. But you've got to question the Swansea defence. None of them, you know, in that back line there, we see that replay, are backtracking onto their players. So very lax by Swansea.
28 points for Stephen Jones. That will impress the Welsh selectors for sure. Gareth Evans really has only made one mistake. That was a drop ball in the first half, looking pretty solid at fullback.
Yes, we'll forgive him that, because I think it was during that 10-minute period when I don't think any player on the field could keep hold of the ball.
Another substitute about to take place for Llanelli.
James Griffiths has just come on for Swansea. Be interesting when they slot him in now.
So James Griffiths in there to try and push up the work rate of the Swansea pack, especially in the second row. But Llanelli holding all the ace cards at the moment, no doubt about that.
Totally, it was always going to be uphill struggles, we knew, with you know, Swansea down to 13 men, and we saw just before that try was scored actually a breakdown. Ian Booby at the moment with no sort of Dean Thomas on the field, challenging really, and Colin Jarvis with his work cut out in the back row. Ian Booby is giving the run of the breakdown at the moment, getting there first and able to sort of cause all sorts of havoc.
Well, we've got Kai Sully who's come on at 22, and Vernon Cooper. Can't see actually whether it's
Luke Gross has gone
Gross,
off,
isn't it?
Yeah, Luke Gross has gone off, and Vernon Cooper's on, and as we said, Side has come on for Mark Jones.
Coming out towards the 20-minute mark, halfway stage of this second half. And if you've just joined us, well, drama at the end of the first half. 2 Swansea players sent off, and that really has opened the floodgates for Llanelli. Guy Easterby, the substitute scrum half, looking for support. He's got all sorts of options. Ian Boobier tries to spin it away. The Welsh flank forward. The number 8, David Jones, is that a good game? Is that going to be a try? Yes, it is.
Well, again, fantastic work from Llanelli, and this 15 against 13 is really showing. The Swansea defence is just stretched all over the place, and it's almost just a matter of time when the Llanelli players are going to break through. They've got overlaps all over the place, and there he is. Selly just come on, scored a try within a minute, and Vernon Cooper, who's just come on as well, figured in that movement as well.
Certainly did. I mean, that was the first time that Selly had even touched the ball. And what a start for him, coming on as substitute just about 45 seconds ago. Good feed off there, off the ball by Vernon Cooper too.
Yeah, again, lovely work by Stephen Jones, just riding the tackle Scott Gibbs, managed to feed Guy Easterby, who made a lovely break, couple of hands, and there it was, space out wide as we thought. With 15 players against 13, this is a story.
And Stephen Jones gets another 2 points. He's up to 30. As Llanelli reached the half-century, and Scott Gibbs, well, there's absolutely nothing he can do about it. Here's the try again.
Again, as we said, great initial work from Guy Easterby and Stephen Jones, but Ty Selly is going to be very, very delighted with that try tonight. And a great kick from Stephen Jones, just to add insult to injury.
So this is certainly going to be a big scoreline if it carries on like this, but Llanelli, after the restart, penalised. That's Ian Boobier, who's got a try during this game. So Swansea on the attack. Scrum half's had a pretty good game, Cordingley, the Australian, but no way through there. Just outside Llanelli's 22. I'm not sure Swansea have even been inside the 22 yet.
Not in this half, and again, loose ball at the ruck there, turnover ball, and Llanelli Guy Easterby just kicking the ball away for safety from his own 22 there. So again, Swansea turning the ball over.
Well, cameraman paying a lot of attention here tonight to Easterby since he came on. A chance for Dwayne Peel, Welsh cap, of course, just to take a rest. It is a long season, and the correct use of substitutes is absolutely vital in a squad system like every team has got.
Yes, totally. There's been a lot being said about substitution recently in the press about too many ends of games, but as you say, it's a very long season, and these players need to be rested, and obviously Clonacley making use of players like Guy Easterby, which is easy to do when you've got two fantastic scrum halves in your squad. You can give them half a game each.
I was up at Northampton a couple of weeks ago. I'll tell you a little bit about that in a moment. As Gavin Henson goes on the charge, he's certainly not giving up. Well, it's fair to say none of the Swansea players are. And this is quite a couple of phases of play they put together. The switch back inside there. Good tackling, though. Only a couple of metres out for Swansea. I'm sure there'll be a lot of applause around this ground if Swansea could come away with a try here. Big hit coming on as Martin Madden comes away. He's not the fastest player on the park. And Llanelli on the charge again. Salesi for now, fed by his captain Lee Davis, but charged down there by James Griffith. Up to halfway. Once again, Mr. McHugh on the spot saying, keep your hands off the ball. Let's have a good passage of play here. One man missed out. And once again, it's that man, Marcus Thomas, on the far side.
Totally. You had a bit of a feeling there that perhaps Clonacley had put their foot off the throttle a little bit. Some great approach play by Swansea, especially from Henson. You know, missed tackle from Jamie Cudmore to make the break. But here we have Salesi Finau just failing to get his pass away on the wing there to, I think it was Garen Evans there, who would have been away for the try. But again, when we see the play carrying on, they're queuing up out wide Clonacley at the moment.
They certainly are, and that man Madden in the thick of it again. I was mentioning Northampton. Shortly after the half-time break, when they were playing Newcastle Falcons, Matt Dawson was taken off. But, you know, the crowd went nuts, actually. They wanted to see Dawson on the park, but it was quite sensible because that guy is going to play, what, another 40 games this season, and you've just got to pace your players.
Totally, you're right, Paul, actually, because as you said before, you've got to make use of your squad players to give these players, you know, one, you want to keep your squad players playing to keep them match fit, as well as keeping your top players rested. But